The Drizzy Morgan Show.
Sometimes, someone else puts into words exactly what you've been thinking. I recently came across a creator called Charles Tabansi after Drizzy and I covered the Nolan Wells case. You know how YouTube algorithm works. One video leads to another, and I'm glad it recommended his channel because he raised some points that are worth discussing. For a while now, Drizzy and I have wanted to have certain conversations about certain commentators and creators online. Not because we disagree with them, that's healthy per se, but because there's a difference between having genuine opinions and building a platform by constantly telling an audience what they already want to hear. Names like Pearl from JustPearlyThings, the Hodgetwins, Stevie Knight, and in my opinion, Officer Tatum often find themselves at the center of that conversation. My criticism isn't that they have different opinions. It's that at times, it feels like the pursuit of clicks, views, and audience approval takes priority over fairness, consistency, and integrity. As a content creator myself, I understand the strong opinions, nuance, and even controversial takes are part of the job. But there's a line I won't cross. I'm not willing to sacrifice my integrity or deliberately mislead an audience just to grow a YouTube channel or make more money. That brings us to the Nolan Wells case. Officer Tatum recently traveled to Mississippi to interview some of the young men who were with Nolan on Horn Island. Watching that coverage, I wasn't surprised by the approach, but do I think he revealed a lot about his style of journalism and the perspective he chooses to present? So today, we are going to react to Charles Tabansi's breakdown, give our own thoughts along the way, and have a broader conversation about accountability, media bias, and whether some creators have become more interested in feeding an audience than pursuing the truth. Let's get into it, people.
So yesterday, we did a litany of shows where we were reacting to some comments that some black influencers and as well D.L. Hughley made about Officer Tatum. So as you guys know, Officer Tatum, who is a MAGA bootlicker, who panders to racist white MAGAs, he recently sat down and did an interview with his best friend. I forgot the name of the best friend that he did. His name's best friend, Warren Hudson, right? So he did an interview with him. I think it was like a 2-hour interview on his channel where he was essentially trying to paint this picture via optics, like, look, you know, here's a black man here interviewing Nolan Wells' best friend who's white, and I don't think anything is wrong. I mean, essentially that's what he was doing it for. So the black people that may have felt that there's some foul play can be like, no, a black person is cool with it. And of course, the whites that want to act like there may not be some foul play here will be like, you see, this black guy, like we get it. The grift is 100% clear. But people like Brandon Tatum act like as if what he's doing is so sophisticated and no one can figure out his grift. And today, again, he went out on X to basically troll black people. I want to read quickly what he wrote in his description before we play his comments. He says, breaking, they're lying about Nolan Wells, and I flew to Mississippi to expose the truth. After reviewing the evidence and speaking directly with the people involved, I believe Benjamin Crump, Al Sharpton, and others helped turn Nolan's tragic death into a racial narrative that doesn't match the facts. The evidence I've seen tells a very different story, and these boys deserve to have their side heard. I'm laying out the evidence, the interviews, and everything I uncovered. Stay tuned.
Straight away, I think Brandon Tatum is being disingenuous. At no point has Benjamin Crump, Al Sharpton, or Nolan Wells' parents outright accused anyone of murdering Nolan or claimed they have evidence of foul play. What they have consistently said is that they want answers, and that's a completely understandable position for any family that just lost a child. So when Tatum suggests that Crump and Sharpton have turned Nolan's death into a racial narrative that isn't supported by the facts, I think that's a mischaracterization of what's actually being said. Let's deal with the facts as we know them. A young black man went out on a boat with a group of predominantly white friends, and he never came home. That's a factual description of what happened. Acknowledging the reality doesn't automatically mean you are accusing someone of a crime or pushing a racial agenda. Then Tatum says, the evidence I've seen tells a very different story. My question is, What evidence? If law enforcement is still investigating, then the responsible approach is to let the investigators gather all the available evidence before reaching conclusions. Until then, everybody, including commentators with huge platforms, should be careful not to present assumptions as established fact. What also stood out to me was the interview itself. Tatum gave the young men an opportunity to tell their side of the story, and that's perfectly reasonable. But where was the pushback? Where was the follow-up questions? Where were the moments where inconsistencies, if any, existed, were challenged? Good journalism isn't just giving someone a microphone, it's testing what they are saying. Because in every story, there's at least two perspectives, and then there's the truth. The goal should be to get as close to the truth as possible, not to reinforce narratives before all the facts are in.
Listen to this guy here.
I gotta say something real quick. Benjamin Crump should be ashamed of himself. Al Sharpton should be ashamed of themselves. I'm right here in Mississippi. It's crazy that I had to fly down here to even get this information. They've been lying on these boys. I got evidence, and I'm gonna show it to you, and I'm gonna lay it out for you. It is a shame that boy Nolan did not get the respect that he deserved. In my opinion, they turned his death into a racial thing, destroying the community, you name it, they did it. And we got evidence that it wasn't just 4 boys with him. We got evidence that they asked Nolan to get back on the boat, and he refused to, because he grown.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
This is where I think Brandon Tatum loses credibility. He appears to take Warren Hudson's account as face value and build his entire narrative around it. But why? At the time of his coverage, that was only one version of events. Since then, additional audio has surfaced that has led people to question parts of the timeline and what happened that day. Whether that audio ultimately changes the investigation is for the authorities to determine. It does show why it's important not to rush to conclusions based on a single account. If you're presenting yourself as a commentator or a journalist, your responsibility is to question everyone, not just the people who challenge your preferred narrative. That's my issue here. Instead of critically examining all the available information, it feels like Tatum accepted one side of the story because it supported the conclusion he already wanted to reach. In my opinion, this is a conscious decision to produce content that resonates with his audience. Viewers deserve commentary that is driven by evidence, not by assumptions or confirmation bias. When you are covering a case as serious as Nolan Wells, the priority should always be getting as close to the truth as possible, not being the first to declare what the truth is.
We got evidence that the boys reached out to the parents, that Benjamin Crump and them didn't refuse to reach out to these boys. And I've talked to them. I've seen the evidence with my own eyes. I've seen that there was more than just 4 people. There was 3 boats full of kids. I know that they left and they had nothing to do with this. And instead of them saying and standing up for these boys and saying, look, we don't know what happened. We want justice for Nolan. These boys didn't have no involvement. Instead, they want to make it about race. And it is a shame. And I'm so heated, man. I went out to Horn Island. We got all the video. We got the interviews. The boys wanted to talk to me because I'm the only one there to give them a voice, because everybody else is fake, fraudulent, looking out for themselves. And it's a shame, man. It's a shame. Nolan deserved better than what they did. They out here hoodwinking, trying to raise money and make stuff about race, and they have no evidence. They lied about the phone getting deleted. It's a shame, man. But y'all finna find out. And a lot of y'all gonna have to apologize for the stuff that you said.
Officer Tatum just said people are going to have to apologize for the things that they've said. My question is he talking about himself as well? Because here's the reality. None of us know exactly what happened to Nolan Wells. The investigation is still ongoing, and that's why it's dangerous to speak with absolute certainty. Let's say, hypothetically, that future event reveals a very different sequence of events than what Officer Tatum has been presenting. If that happens, will he come back on his platform and apologize with the same energy? Will he admit that he got it wrong? That's the problem when you plant your flag so firmly before all the facts are available. The moment new evidence emerges, you are forced to either acknowledge your mistake or double down to protect your credibility. And that's why people accuse him of grifting. It's not simply because they disagree with his opinions. It's because in their view, he appears more committed to defending a particular narrative than following the evidence wherever it leads. Cases like this demand patience, humility, and objectivity. The facts should shape the narrative, not the other way round. Until the investigation is complete, everyone, including commentators with massive platforms, should be careful about speaking as if the case has already been solved.
So you saw him there, right? Well, a liberal by the name of, what's his name here? Secret Service Sam decided to do a video where he was essentially exposing clowns like Officer Tatum and the Hodgetwins and the rest of them. And I think he did an absolutely beautiful job explaining it. And the reason why I think this is going to hit harder is because this is coming from a white person who sees through tokens like Officer Tatum's grift. Take a listen to what this guy said here.
Secret Service Sam here with a message about people like Officer Tatum, the Hodgetwins, black men who make money off white fragility. And you have to understand, they are just using black atrocities to make money and to appeal to the MAGAs, the Fox crowd, the white racist people who love to hang on to one black man willing to validate all of their racist views. And that is exactly what Officer Tatum does. He is literally the definition of a race baiter. That's the irony, is he calls everybody else a race baiter, makes it about race. But you have to understand, when you are in the minority, we don't see anybody white in his comments. Go look at Officer Tatum. Go look at the Hodgetwins. Go look at any of these corny ass content creators who played a white racist and show me more than one black person in their comments. I challenge you to find that on any one of their videos, on any one of their posts. And they're always the first to say, let's not make this about race, because that comforts white racist people. And then they get a huge crowd because of the way they're willing to speak, because it's not a majority of black people who think like that at all. Most black people in America can acknowledge and understand from their own experience how racist our justice system is and America is. For the reason that you never see a white woman being pulled out of her car and slammed to the ground. For the reason you don't see white women get followed around shopping mall stores because they're being accused of stealing. It's all there, but these sell out your souls, black men, content creators. I'm sure there's women too. Candace Owens used to do that before she got on a different lane. But they're all the same. And all you white racist people need to notice, ask yourself, why is it only white people in the comment section, right? If this black man telling you about these things, why aren't other black people agreeing with it? Ask yourself that. And Officer Tatum and the Hodgetwins and anybody else I'm forgetting, they are disgusting and disgraceful. And it's Samuel L. Jackson in Django Unchained. You know that? That's what they're doing. Secret Service Sam out, Sansa for president of the world.
Well, you got a problem with that?
He perfectly summarized the entire situation. Tatum is a token. Okay? And he's doing what most of these COONs do, who don't have any talent. They just go out there and say, you know what? Let me just see how I can rage bait my own race, talk trash about my own race. Wasn't it Officer Tatum that said slavery was a good thing for black people? This man went, I believe, on Piers Morgan Show and said slavery was a good thing for slavery. A black man is saying slavery was a good slavery. Now, he must either be historically obtuse or he has some serious mental issues, because he must not know what took place during slavery. He must not know the grotesque things they were doing to black bodies, but he must not know. Because for him to open his fat ass black lips to say that,
What did he say?
you know that there's no level of COON-ry that this dude won't stoop to.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
And he's doing all of this for money. And do you know the saddest part about people like this? They have to do this for the rest of their lives in order to maintain the cash flow that they currently have. Because if they for a second stray away, his audience would disown him.
I think Charles is spot on here. In my opinion, Officer Tatum has leaned so heavily into one particular lane, changing his opinion now would come at a cost. If the evidence eventually points in a different direction, does he risk losing the very audience he spent years building? That's the danger of creating content that's driven by audience expectations rather than wherever the facts lead. When your audience expects you to reinforce a particular worldview every single time, it becomes much harder to say, I got this wrong. And that's why people use the term grifter. That's why I use the term grifter. The criticism isn't simply that someone has conservative or liberal views. It's the perception that they are telling their audience exactly what they want to hear because that's what generates the clicks, the views, and the revenue. Personally, I find it disgusting. As content creators, our credibility is our greatest asset. Views come and go, subscribers come and go. But once people believe you are willing to sacrifice your integrity to protect your brand or your income, that's much harder to get back. To be honest, I actually feel sorry for him. If you ever reach a point where you can't follow the evidence because you're worried about how your audience will react, you've stopped leading your audience and you've started being controlled by it. That's not a position I ever want to be in.
His audience will leave him. To me, I just really wonder how these guys sleep at night, knowing that you're selling out your own race. I really sincerely wonder how you sleep at night. Does the money really help your conscience? Does it really help you not think about all the things that you're doing to your own people? Does money mean that much to you? And he does it with a straight face. He does it with a straight face, with no shame, and acts like as if he's being innovative with his point of views. This is what some black people have to do to make money these days. It is absolutely disgraceful. And people like this are a disgrace to their race. I mean, you are. You are. You are. And you know what's amazing? A lot of the people that cheer on Tatum, these white MAGAs, you will never find videos of them trashing their own women. You will never find videos of them saying white women ain't this and white women ain't. You will never find these videos. You'll never. They just sit back and let buffoons like this do it to their own race. And then when they're done, they throw banana peels at them. And then people like Officer Tatum run around and pick them up off the floor and eat them. So now you have white people even calling you out. White people calling you out. Saying, man, you're embarrassing yourself. And he's doing all of this to piss off black people. That is 100% the reason that he's doing it. 100%. There's so many of them. Some of them focus on it from the black woman angle. Oh, they'll tell you everything that's wrong with black women. This one is black. This one is black. But something wrong with your mom? No, nothing is wrong with my mom because she's great. Something wrong with your sister? Oh, nothing is wrong with my sister because she's my sister. Is there something wrong with your aunties? Oh, nothing. There's nothing wrong. What about your nieces? Oh, nothing. But everybody else's mama and their sisters, something is wrong with them. This is what they do. This is what they do. These people are not even real men. They're not. If you have to trash your own women, you're not a real man. You're not. I don't know what to tell you. You can't be more of a cornball than that. You can't. These are my thoughts.
Shout out to Charles Tabansi for putting together such a well thought out piece of content. I genuinely think he's articulated a lot of the concerns that many people have had surrounding this case. And I couldn't have said it much better myself. If you haven't already watched his full video, I'll leave the link to the channel in the description below. Now, I also want to make something clear. This isn't a political channel. This has never been what the Drizzy Morgan Show has been about. Our channel is built around entertainment, music, hip-hop, relationships, honor, and accountability. But every now and then, a story like this comes along that raises bigger questions, not just about the case itself, but about how some commentators choose to cover it. For me, this discussion isn't really about left versus right or conservative versus liberal. It's about responsibility. If you are fortunate enough to have a platform that reaches hundreds of thousands or even millions of people, then with that comes responsibility to present information fairly, question every side, and be willing to challenge your position if new evidence emerges. The Nolan Wells case is still under investigation, and like everyone else, I hope his family eventually get the answers they deserve. Until then, I think all of us, whether we are journalists, commentators, or YouTubers, should be careful not to confuse opinion with fact. If you enjoyed this reaction and breakdown, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're new, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Do you think Charles Tabansi's criticism of Officer Tatum is fair, or do you see it differently? Let's have a respectful conversation, people. Thank you for watching. It's your boy Morgan Heights in the building, and I'll see you next time. Peace.